There's a free online figure sculpting competition coming up. There's going to be $1,000 in prize money, as well as many other digital prizes from our sponsors. I'm Andrew Joseph Keith. I'm the instructor for the Proco Figure Sculpting Fundamentals course, as well as the Portrait Sculpting course. And to celebrate the completion of the figure sculpting course, we're holding this figure sculpture competition for sculpting students around the world. You don't have to have purchased the full premium sculpting course in order to enter the competition, but you do have to be on my email list, and you can find a link below to sign up for that email list. Sponsors for the competition include Proko.com, Posespace.com, the DaVinci App, as well as myself. We've all contributed a little bit of money to the competition just to make things more interesting. You're welcome. The competition will go for 2 weeks, so you'll have 2 weekends to work on your sculptures, and I'll be walking you through how I would go about approaching this project in live streams during the first 5 days of the competition. Those live streams will be up on the Proco 3D YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to that. If you can't make the live streams, they will still be available afterwards. Even if you've never tried your hand at sculpting, I encourage you to join the competition and try your hand at sculpting the figure from start to finish in 2 weeks. It's free, you don't have anything to lose. Here's what you need to know to prepare for the competition. You'll want an 18-inch or 45-centimeter wire armature, as well as an armature stand to give the figure support. You can use an armature stand that comes off the waist of the figure or that hangs the figure from above. For sculpting clay, I generally like to use a non-dry modeling clay like Chavant NSP or other cheap types of non-drying modeling clay. But if you think you'd like to save your sculpture once the competition is done, you might consider using a polymer clay like Sculpey so that you can bake the finished sculpture in the oven, and that way you have a finished sculpture after the competition's done. A natural clay like terracotta is also fine to use, but with air dry clays like terracotta and other water-based clays, you'll need to keep it covered with a plastic bag throughout the competition so it doesn't dry out and crack. You also can't fire this in a kiln if there's an armature inside, because then it'll just end up cracking. And so those are all the supplies you'll need for the competition: a wire armature, an armature stand, sculpting tools, and clay. There are links below to additional videos on how to build a wire armature, how to build a wire armature stand, and information on clay and sculpting tools. We will provide the photo references that you'll use for the sculpture. From April 24th to April 28th, there will be live sculpting demos where I will show you my method if I was to do a sculpture like this. And the competition will end on May 8th, and then on May 15th, we'll announce the winners and get you guys your prizes. I'm really excited to have these amazing sponsors for our competition. I love using pose-based references for my online sculpting courses because they provide at least 24 different angles of each pose with consistent lighting that makes these references ideal for artists interested in working in the round. Get a work at it from many different angles. It's great. Posespace.com has generously provided 2 poses for the competition, one male pose, one female pose, and you can choose which pose that you'd prefer to use during the competition. These references won't be available until the competition starts because I don't want anybody to have a head start. So once the competition gets going, then I'll send out an email to those on the list to where they can find those free poses. For this competition, those poses will be censored.
When you're drawing the you want to make sure the is not covered by the
but you can find the full uncensored versions over at Posespace.com. Posespace has also contributed $250 that will go towards the prize money. In addition, Posespace.com has offered 2 pose credits to everyone who submits their work for review over at Proko.com. So everyone who joins the competition and does something, no matter how terrible, if you submit your work during this competition, you'll get 2 free poses over at Posespace.com. So I want to give a huge thank you to Posespace.com for providing the references and supporting this competition. Another incredible sponsor is Proco.com, obviously. Proko.com is providing $250 to go towards the winner's pot. Thanks, Proco. The final submissions for this sculpture competition will be submitted over at Proko.com, so be sure to sign up for your free account if you haven't already. It has been such a huge blessing to me to be able to work directly with Stan Prokopenko and his team. They've created an amazing business that helps art students around the world. The DaVinci App is another great resource and will also be sponsoring this competition. The DaVinci App allows you to take a reference image and then overlay it with the camera of your phone so that you can look right through your reference at what you're working on, and that way you can check the proportions, the gesture, the mass of the figure, and get a lot of things accurate from the very start. I love using the DaVinci app during the beginning stages of a sculpture to make sure that I've accurately captured the gesture, the proportions, the silhouette or the outline of the sculpture from several different angles as I'm sculpting. The DaVinci app has generously donated $250 to go towards the winner's pot of the competition, which is now at $1,000. Right now, the plan is to have the third place winner get $100, the second place winner get $150, and the first place winner get $750. The DaVinci app has also offered the digital prize of a 1-year subscription to the app for the top 10 competitors during the competition. So if you're in the top 10, you'll get a 1-year subscription to the DaVinci app. Thank you, DaVinci for supporting this competition and creating such a useful tool for artists and sculptors. Show some support for our sponsors. I really appreciate them. Join the competition. It'll be fun. It's free. You don't have anything to lose. I'll see you soon over at Proko.com. Stay productive, stay creative.